everybody doing the death to America chant or trying to justify it, you can get got. Just fall into a sewer. I don't want you to actually be harmed, but you are deeply dumb for chanting death to Israel, death to America. I don't give a fuck if it's in Arabic. I don't give a fuck about the history of the phrase. The phrase is death to something. Don't do that, because that is just bad policy. And a lot of you don't realize that a bunch of people are saying the one that is actually death to Jews, because that's part of one of the chants. Actually, shout out I'm Really Important. I don't know if he's ever going to stop through here, but if you guys are in I'm Really Important, clip this and tell him. I heard him say this yesterday, and I was fucking proud as shit, but I was also defending democracy and Helldivers too, but could not reach out at the moment and give him a little bit of a thumbs up. He said he is sick of hearing, liberals, leftists hate America. All liberals and leftists hate America. And I fucking agree with that 100%. Because it is, and he gave his own explanation. You should go look it up. It's in his live stream last night. Check it out if you can find it. And I'm not going to re-articulate his points. I'm going to hop off of that and articulate mine. You will never bypass the sports team when you try to come at people as part of the other sports team. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to find middle ground by saying dumb shit. And I know this sounds crazy. I think Democrats and Republicans can agree on some stuff. Because first off, everyone will either say, I agree, or they won't care. You know what I'm saying? Start trying to phrase shit as a member of the state or of the country or of the whatever place that you are. Because I could go out there and talk to 1,000 conservative Republicans in Kentucky right now. And if I start leading to them as a socialist, I think blah, 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 blah. And that's just going to put up an unnecessary and pointless barrier. There's no reason as leftists that we should be particularly proud of any organization that we're part of. Shout out my anarchists for having everyone. I swear to God, you miss so much, but when you hit, you fucking hit, anarchists. You shouldn't have so much love and faith in your organizational identity that you can't bypass that in order to actually achieve the ends that the organization wants to achieve. And if you meet people and say, as an American, I want these things for America, if you can meet people like that, they are going to have so much more reason to listen to you because you're both Americans. That person's a Republican. I know that I have foreigners in here. It's all right. You guys can probably do the same thing in your own countries. Human beings are humans. But try to say, as an American who lives in America, as a resident of Lexington, who has to deal with your dumb fuck kids. I want fucking public education to be great in this country. Because your kids, when I'm old, your kids are going to be fixing my car. Your kids are going to be working on my house. Your kids are going to be in the fucking nursing home, fucking taking care of my dumb ass. Your kids are going to become the doctors. Your kids are going to become the lawyers. Your kids are going to become firemen, professionals, police officers, bus drivers. Every fucking job in this fucking state is going to be your children as they grow up. And I want them to be the best possible workers, the best fucking citizens that we can get. And the best way to do that is for us to pull our resources together and have good public education that gets them to that step where they can take care of us and fucking raise up the next generation after them to be even better. That's what I want. Is there a person on earth that can disagree with that on its face? No. But if I say the same thing as a socialist, I blah, 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 blah. I've already given you a fucking out. And who gives about it shit about they don't want to be socialists. Fine, don't be. And if I'm not going to make you, who gives a fuck? Because I'm describing the goals of my organization as though my organization is going to run shit. No, fuck that. We're both fucking members of this same thing. We're both here as this. You know what I'm saying? You're a guy that likes to wear red shirts. I'm a guy that likes to wear blue. But motherfucker, don't we like both standing on a nice crisp green lawn and drinking a fucking cold beer and watching kids fucking shoot up and down the street on bicycles? It's the fucking American dream, all right? It's fucking great. We'll both mow our lawns. I'm going to use a mower that doesn't have any grass or gas in it. And maybe you can't agree with people on that. But that's the actual meeting people halfway, is understanding that you don't even have to go halfway. You don't even have to move. Half the time they're standing shoulder to shoulder with you, and you nearly need to reach out and shake their hand. And you should. Embrace your identity as a person that is in the place that you live. That doesn't mean that you have to actually be a true nationalist, a psycho who thinks that everything that your nation does is inherently good because you're a member of that nation. Just understand that's where you are. That's the bus you're on. And tell people, as a fucking another person that's on this bus with you guys, I don't think we should drive off the cliff. And I think that is a cliff ahead. I have looked into it. And like together, I think we can do this. Together. That's what we're talking about. You have to be the kind of person that is willing to meet people halfway. Maybe not even halfway. Maybe you don't have the fucking right. You don't have the right. You don't have the numbers. You don't have the clout. You don't have the organizational ability to meet them even halfway. Maybe you have to go over to their side and just say like, hey, but can I pull you? Can I pull you a little closer to me? Can I just drag you a little bit further away from that cliff that's behind you? I'll sit over here with you. You can have the things that I hate it. I'm going to have, it's compromise. I know it's horrible, but compromise is an aspect of these things because you don't have another option. There is no other option. You're one guy. What can you do? And you're going to end up eventually being like fucking Hasan, where it's like, well, the one thing I felt like I could do is send a fucking sitting senator a picture of the shotgun they killed Shinzo Abe with. Like, okay, so murder is your next option. That's nice. Okay, because he's better. He's a fucking senator, dumb fuck. He has all of the murderers work for him. He controls the budget of the murderers. You have a bunch of idiot children that a lot of them started watching you because you played fucking Among Us with AOC. He sits on like oversight committees and can like literally go talk to the fucking head of the Department of Defense. Maybe understand where you're from, swallow your fucking pride a little bit, and try to do things that can actually do shit. It's insanity. That senator threatened us, which is within his unfortunate right. He's the law. I am the law. I am the law. You know what I'm saying? And also, he didn't threaten technically anybody. He emboldened people to be threatening within the auspices of the law. Like, he just played the game better. I'll do that one real quick. We'll just hop into that super, super quick because I can just show you guys and then chat about it and then we can get into. Okay. So this is what happened. I'll just show you guys real quick. I took a screenshot of this because chat is keeping me honest. So this is, I think everybody knows now, a meme. This is the, homemade shotgun basically that Shinzo Abe was assassinated with, like a year or two ago. Hey, based political assassination, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't like Shinzo Abe. As a matter of fact, it's fucking cool that he's dead. Fuck him. I don't give a shit. Tom Cotton said this before. I encourage people who get stuck behind the pro-Hamas mobs blocking traffic, take matters into your own hands to get them out of the way. It's time to put an end to this nonsense. Now, this is unironically a call to violence. It is. But, I can't remember exactly where Tom Cotton is. You don't forget, across the nation, it has become legal to run down protesters who block streets. I am still kind of 50-50 on the like, don't fucking block streets to protest because it just pisses off way more people than it does it. Like everybody hates it and don't do it. It is such a thing that is done by people that don't have fucking jobs to get to. But it could be something, it could literally be we want to give Tyler Bell $5 million protest. And if I was backed up onto the highway in traffic in summer heat, I would want to fucking kill everybody that was in that fucking street. Not because I'm a monster, but because I'm a human being stuck in a car, which is the natural place to make you the fucking most angry. And all of the protesters who are blocking streets like that and shit, y'all fucked up. You fucked up on that. You have to take that L because it didn't change shit. Everyone was really pissed about it. It made you all look like assholes. And now they legalized running over protesters in a bunch of different states. Or they decriminalized it. It doesn't mean that you can actually just go run someone over, but if you accidentally hit someone or if you push them out of the way with your car and they get hurt, then it's not your fault, it's the natural flow of the road. It is not something that will actually fucking do anything. It is just unironically, like fucking not. If you were doing it with violence and blocking people who did not have anything to do with the conflict at hand, other than you were inventing like 6 degrees of separation for Kevin Bacon of why it was their fault. This guy who like works for Roto-Rooter and has to go like back into the city to pick up one fucking little piece to go fix a plummet. He's now stuck during like the middle of traffic because you're fucking pissed about something that he's like, not only do I not know, I'm just still on your side, but why the fuck are we stuck in traffic? That guy's going to fucking be furious with you. And they're not going to be in a position where they're like, when they get past your like protest, they're going to say, wow, I really am glad that happened and I could hear them out. Or like, I'm going to go home and be like, hey, Senator, I was blocked on my way home today. You need to do something about problem X because these protesters have a point. Like, no one is going to do that for you. I don't know why you think that that's going to happen. If you're one of those people, just understand that it was a bad idea from the start. You're justified in your anger, but your action was pointless and accomplished nothing. Don't do that. You just wasted time. Like if you block before a hospital, like the Canadian truckers never do that. Yes. They have greatly misunderstood that not all publicity is good publicity. I mean, all publicity is good publicity for somebody. Might not be for you. See, Just Stop Oil. Their hearts are in the right place, but their tactics aren't working. No, it's only like that shit just seems like an op. It's so fucking, it's so fucking sideways. And the thing is you're like, well, do you think protest doesn't work? I mean, sometimes protest doesn't work. I was there for Occupy. I'm old enough that I was covering Occupy 1 year after as a student journalist, and it was fucking depressing because like I remember being embarrassed and literally telling a police officer I'm not with them because the protest was fucking humiliating because these cops were there to protect the protest. It was a scheduled protest in a downtown area, and there was only 10 of them showed up. And they filled out a form like, we are going to have a protest. We think there's going to be like 400 or 500 people and we're going to walk down the street. No one showed up because no one cared about Occupy anymore. And there was just one lady with a fucking donut on a stick on a string, like, and waving it at the cops like, oh, you want this, blah, 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 blah. And like the cop looked from her to me with my camera and I put my camera down like, I'm not going to take a picture. And I was like, I'm not with them. That is so fucking I'm not with them. And the cop rolled their eyes at me like I might have been. I was like, dude, that fucking hurt. I would have just hit me with the fucking nightstick because I've never been humiliated like this in my life. A cop on a horse, lady cop on a horse. I'm like, oh, there you go. She literally just looked at the lady and like, I don't give a shit that you're doing this, kid. She just said, don't put the donut near my horse's face. Don't do animal abuse. Which is like crazy, you know? And that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing for everybody. No one cared, but you got to go out and walk around. And I think a lot of that is just like, I want attention. There's nothing about putting a fucking donut on a stick that's first off, it's very funny, done correctly. But like when you get into the like the background, like the production aspect, because it was like a stick she found. It wasn't even like a purpose. Like she went and bought like a little bit of a dowel rod at Home Depot. She just found a stick and she just had string laying around and bought a donut. And like the only thing I could think, and when I got back to the newsroom, the guy, my editor, was just like, "Do you think she ate the donut afterward?" And I'm like, who wouldn't? I was like, and just hit this donut that like if it didn't technically touch the ground, it was just kind of like floating in the city air, you know. Just bought a donut to like as a prop and then threw it away. It's crazy. Yeah, it's just cringe. And it is alienating and it's kind of embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing like a little hey, ba, 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 da, 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 da. You know, it's a thing and you can do it and it works, but like unironically take your fucking cues from protests that actually worked and like try to understand your limitations before you get into them. It's the main thing. Also, just don't block traffic. Don't do it. It's as a socialist, you should be opposed to the machinery of commerce being ground to a halt because you are going to be directly negatively affecting socialists. Like if you're taking money and time out of the worker's hand in a way that doesn't actually benefit the worker, what really does that change between you and the capitalist? Really, if you think about it, because you're not giving them anything in return. You're just pretending in your mind that this is going to do something, and yet an actual worker who has a job, who is maybe on their way to their lunch break, maybe on their way home, maybe on their way to work, is now being impacted by your political action to no benefit to them that's provable whatsoever. And if that doesn't actually happen, like, what are you going to accomplish other than alienating the workers and using their inconvenience and their discomfort to your own end? Like, what really is different between you and capitalists? Like if you think about it, you're just literally stealing, I guess we would say, emotional labor from them, the labor of having to not lose your mind and run over somebody in a fucking protest because you're like, I want to get home in time I have to get home to 6. I have a show to watch at 6. I want to eat food. I have been at my fucking call center job since fucking 9, listening to Becky talk about her fucking toe-headed, dipshit, cross-eyed, inbred fucking child for so long that I feel like I might strangle anyone. Please get out of the way. I am so for abortion rights. I had an abortion. Just get the fuck out of my way. I want to eat casserole and I want to watch fucking Vampire Diaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of, you have to humanize the people that are in the cars as well as the people that you're fighting for, as well as yourselves. Like, you just understand that there's people out there and they're going to lose their mind. And if you were stuck in that fucking for some other protest, what would you do? And like, literally, just next time you're in a traffic jam, imagine it is first, I guess it'll make you feel better because you're, I don't know, just divorced from reality. Next time you're in a traffic jam, imagine it's for a good reason. Imagine it's for a good cause. Tell yourself, next time you're in a traffic jam, imagine someone is outside telling you that the traffic jam is for your own benefit. Imagine that next time and see if you start losing your fucking mind just a little bit. She thought she was on a Rust server, started crafting. The worst part about that is that right-wing actors can use that annoyance to turn potential allies away from the cause that's being protested against. 100%. 100%. Causing disruption is what gets eyes, and it seems like civil shit isn't working because when we do civil shit, it gets overturned by monsters who don't care. What is that? Prove it. First off, it doesn't seem like means that your impression is the thing. You know what I'm saying? But like, when they're actively working to shut down the stuff that you've accomplished, that means you accomplished shit. A win is not a permanent win, okay? It's not the end of the game, so to say. Like, you gain ground, you lose ground. 2 steps forward, 1 step back is a depressing reality, but it's still a step forward, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to all of these other things that are just steps in non-directions. You're just being a reactionary, is the problem. Like, it doesn't feel like that, but you are. You're just reacting to what they're doing instead of actually taking action and sitting and thinking and doing the hard thing. So like going and making a big fucking ruckus and being a pain in the fucking ass. Like, I guess you distracted them so that they could pass a law that made it legal to run you over. Good job. I don't know what that fucking accomplished. Maybe when people start getting run over, it'll be like, that's the long game. Is actually like, we wanted some protesters to get turned into fucking mulch on a highway so that we could use that to like garner sympathy to have the law that lets you run the protesters down that we had passed against us in the first place repealed. That's a fucking, there's 2 steps back, 2 steps further back for you. I mean, that's the thing. Being civilly disruptive is fine, but it has to be disruptive in a way that actually benefits people. Otherwise you're just saying, I just want to do anything. I will just do shit. Somebody just give me anything. I'll do anything. It doesn't matter what. And this just goes into what I was talking about. Don't let yourself fall into a trap where you get so overly emotional. You just start thinking that anything that is action is going to work. Why? Because, holy shit, we just re-arrived at the point yet again. That is one of the main tenets of fascism, is do not think, act. It's constant. That's why the fascism is so addictive. They like to sit and talk, and these people in these halls of power will talk and talk and talk themselves, and they will say that civil fixes are on the route. They will tell us that actions of diplomacy are going to fix the problems for the worker. What we need now is action. No more thought. We need to act, and we need to act now. Whatever can be done, whatever blow can be struck against this enemy must be struck, because we can wait no longer. Does that get you a little fired up? Did that get you fucking excited? Congratulations. I just gave you the most generic fucking fascist, let's go start slaughtering people in the streets speech that's ever been uttered. I wrote that in 2 seconds because that's how much fucking thought you need to put it together. Just literally start listening to any fucking Hitler speech and then switch out whatever the fuck he's talking about with one of your problems and see if you don't start getting your fucking little fucking jimmies in a twist. You'll get stoked. You'll get psyched because he'll start saying things. We need to go to the streets. We need to go to the halls of power. We need to push down the walls that stand between us and what they have raised against us. Because when they stand and they do not fall and we do not rise up against them with bricks, with sticks, with our raised fists, with our flesh, with our blood, with our bone, then they win. Then they push us down. We need to unite, a united crew, a united Germany. You start getting fired. Ooh. I like it. You know why? Because it gets that monkey part of your brain going. You're like, fucking, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to fucking do it. We're going to do it. And then you're all of a sudden, it's just like, shit. Damn it. That was a Nazi speech. But I'm not a Nazi. I'm morally superior to them, as I am not ontologically evil, using the tools of the ontologically evil. It's not an issue for me. Oh my God. Does it not sound the same? Think about all the times you've heard fucking Hasan just screaming about something and not actually saying shit. It's rough. It sucks. It sucks to be a fucking adult. It sucks to look around and say like, damn, I guess really you do have to imagine that Sisyphus is having a good fucking time with all this. And then you roll the stone up again. But every time you roll the stone up the hill, it carves a deeper rut. 10 million passes up there, and all of a sudden the stone is resting on the rocks, and you're pushing it up and resting a little bit as opposed to the first push. And it sucks. But if you laugh about it a little bit, and you fucking put your back into it, eventually you'll find that the stone rolls easier, and you grow stronger. Every time Sisyphus moves, the path is easier, is the real psychotic act in there. Tyler, stop channeling your German ancestors. You're already too powerful. It's fucking easy as shit. You don't have to fucking think about it. You just have to say there's an enemy and anything that you can do is fine, and just don't name specifically the things that you want to do. There you go. You've written every fascist speech that's ever existed. I have a question. I think the people blocking the road in South America also faced people trying to kill them or actually killing them for blocking the road. Is this true? Ask Google, man. I have no idea. The idea that blocking the road gets attention, which is good, is false. All it has done is alienate the populace and allow to legalize violence against protesters. I mean, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised at this juncture if a lot of the people that are arguing on its behalf are either rubes being pumped up by somebody who is a negative actor or just actual negative op actors who are just like, yeah, fuck it. Because the FBI is still out there. I mean, I know I don't like to do boogeyman talk too much, but even when it's not the FBI, like, 4chan just reads the fucking books. Like, 4chan knows how to do COINTEL. You know what I mean? They know how to do COINTELPRO. They know how to do the whole fucking thing. And it's not hard. It's pretty obvious, like, the things that you do when you think about it. It's just human engineering. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing a bunch of that stuff, too. Politics is one of the slowest projects you can engage in. And remember that it took the conservatives 40 years to repeal Roe v. Wade, but they never stopped trying for those 40 years. They set up an entire org specifically to get that. Federalist Society is literally 40 years of politics being focused into a single issue. Yes. And it's unironically exhausted their movement. They ran out of steam. It's like sprinting to the top of the hill, and now they're there, and it's like, fucking, they're exhausted about it. Fedler warning for you. Yeah. I'm the ultimate CIA op. I'm telling you to watch out for the CIA. Like, I don't know how this gets framed after a spontaneous, thoughtless, reactionary, fascist action after 6 months of non-action from our politicians. What do you mean 6 months of non-action? Politicians are doing shit all the time. Do you think you know what they're doing? Do you think when you watch a streamer cover a politician, the politician has sat in a box silent until the last time? Do you actually watch the news? Do you actually, like, get on MSNBC? Do you follow, like if you have do you know specifically what your senator has been doing? You can look this up. By the way, you can look this up. I don't know if you guys know this. You can look up your senator's schedules and appearances. You can follow them. You can actually figure out what the fuck the politicians that you vote for are doing and not just assume what they're doing based on shit you hear streamers say. And you can actually follow them. Politicians are doing shit all the time. I'll just tell you as somebody that covered this stuff, even at the local level, it's constant. The thing that you're concerned about, by the way, your complaint is a complaint that everyone has about everything. Everything. Right now, Mitch McConnell has probably 5,000 messages on his phone in his office that aren't anything to do with any issue that you're concerned about. They're all just like, hey, there's potholes in my district in Owensboro. And I want to know if that pothole can get fixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can you do as the state senator? Oh, I can't do anything about that. He's over listening. If he turns that on, it's beep, 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 beep. The entirety of all of the shit that they're doing in the legislative session, and they're constantly doing stuff. They're constantly doing stuff. Even the evil ones are outgoing and getting bribes and stuff, and having people that bribe them pit against each other for the bribes. Because, like, once they win over us, they still have to fight each other for the scraps. Like, they're monsters. You know what I'm saying? They are constantly doing stuff. Political inaction, you have to always phrase that with political inaction on a single issue. And describe the issue at hand. And describe the politicians that you think aren't doing anything. Because I'm going to want to backtrace what you're talking about. Like, the whole thing. Like, here's one thing that no one said yet. Joe Biden has been harder on Israel than any president, I believe, in U.S. history. Think about that. He hasn't been hard enough. Okay, fine. President Biden is, I believe, one of the first fucking presidents I've ever known that said, we might stop supporting Israel. That at all was not a thing that got said back in the day. Just wasn't. Before we had Trump gave them everything. Most all of the bullets that are being put into Palestinian bodies were paid for by the fucking Trump administration and the Obama administration. And then probably some are still left over from the Bush administration. So if we just go back since I was in high school, so 20 years plus, 24 years. 24 years, he's the hardest president on Israel in this millennium. If we go back before that, George Bush or Bill Clinton. I don't know what Bill Clinton's Israel policy was, but I don't think that was pretty good. I know that's the Ariel Sharon issue or era. And like, there might have been some other stuff going on, but we were still hyper pro-Israel back then. Then you go before it, Reagan. Reagan's going to be pretty pro-Israel, and George H.W. is going to be pretty fucking pro-Israel. Then what is it? Fucking old Jimmy Peanut Farmers before that, right? And he got 4 years, and I think even he was pro-Israel and fucking still got canned, because that's like, you go back to that, it's Munich and the PLO and shit. And then before that, like, fuck, dude. That was like, everything before that was just when we just killed brown people as fucking public policy. Before the bicentennial, all of our shit was just like Henry Kissinger pointing on a map and saying, just gosh them. Like, what the fuck? Like, Eisenhower went harder. Fuck me. Fuck me, right? Nixon was harder on Israel, but that's because he was anti-Semitic. So it's like, my chats didn't show on your YouTube scroll. My senator is Bob Menendez. He loves Israel, but is currently on trial for corruption. Oh, God. Bob Menendez. He's a Dem, right? Democrat from New York, I believe, that got caught. Didn't he literally have pockets full of gold bars? Yeah, you've got to get involved in local politics. That's the reason. If you're not taking up some of their time, somebody is. This is really the big point of it. You know what I mean? People that are fucking putting pressure on Joe Biden is working. I'm going to always tell you guys, don't actually not vote for the president. That's like a real thing. But if you want to threaten not to vote for him, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in a blue district. If you want to threaten it, but then you're not actually going to do it, that's okay. That's a diplomatic tactic called a false threat. It's called showboating. And that's fine. As long as you're a reliable person, if you're doing showboating and coming out and making statements, that's actually politics. You're doing politics, my friend. But if you think about it, that's fucking crazy. Of all of the fucking presidents that we've had, of all of the executive branches, like, Joe Biden's been harder on them. Because that's just such a fucking thing that you can't do to people. You know what I mean? Like fucking, remember when Nancy Reagan, I mean, might as well be. What's her name? Nancy Pelosi fucking dragged AOC aside. You guys remember when AOC got broken? I bring this up every once in a while. She dragged AOC aside because fucking Ocasio-Cortez wanted to do a non-vote on Israel. She said she wanted to hand wave her vote and like say, I'm not going to vote for Israel funding in a non-slaughtering everybody year. And Nancy fucking Pelosi brought her aside and forced her to change her vote. She literally whipped her. That's a part of the process. Whips, and made her vote for, because the fucking Democratic establishment needed that for some fucking reason. I don't know. If you want to change the overall policies and stuff, you have to change all of the people on the ground. But like also just saying like our politicians have been inactive on it. They haven't been doing what you want. But there's probably been all kinds of shit going on behind the scenes. Even just not being hyper pro-Israel is like a major thing, because the Israelis need spiritually, and what they want is 100% U.S. support. And they got that for fucking decades, like throughout the entirety, to the point where it was like, it's a hand wave vote to support Israel because it's such a fucking major issue for certain parts of the thing. And the bribes are so fucking crazy that any fucking divergence from that is a major thing. And I think it's going to go even further south from that. But it's a giant political organism. You know what I'm saying? And nothing about that is going to get changed by you blocking a road. You know what I mean? Like if you go and fucking like disable the Brooklyn Bridge, like that's not going to make I think that's where isn't Schumer Manhattan like area? You know, that's not going to make Chuck Schumer go like, all right now, well, I guess they have a point. We really got to reconsider the act of terrorism that some of my constituents did against their own city. Does really make me change my mind. I think we really need to be a lot more anti-Israel on our spending. It's just never going to happen. New Jersey. Sorry, my bad. New Jersey, my bad. It's the same thing. I'm just kidding. That whole section right there, I can't fucking peel it all apart. You all seem the same to me. All you fucking the New York metropolitan area, the tri-state areas, you guys are all the same. I can't even remember. Is Brooklyn on the fucking island or is it off the island? Who knows? Who cares? I'm just going to say right now, how about this? Queens is the best borough. Out of nothing. I don't even give a shit. Queens is the best borough, followed by Staten Island. All right? Or Long Island, whichever one it is. And then then another one, whichever other one it is. And then Brooklyn and then Manhattan. How about that? All right. Manhattan's not even a borough, is it? It's fucking Bronx. Isn't Bronx one of the boroughs? The top chunk and then the bottom chunk? I don't give a fuck. Treat you New Yorkers like fucking dogs. My senator is Sherrod Brown in Ohio. He's a good guy, but almost uncompromisingly pro-Israel. It took him until March to support a ceasefire, but he's supporting a ceasefire. That means stuff is going on behind the scenes, and it's going on in front of the scenes. People are being out and being loud about it, and calling your senators and shit is going to go way further. Especially when when you're taking action that Fox News can't try to rephrase as like, look at these literal terrorists on American soil, because you have dipshits that are fucking hyper fired up that are just everybody doing the death to America chant or trying to justify it. You can get got. Just fall into a sewer. I don't want you to actually be harmed, but you are deeply dumb for chanting death to Israel, death to America. I don't give a fuck if it's in Arabic. I don't give a fuck about the history of the phrase. The phrase is death to something. Don't do that, because that is just bad policy. And a lot of you don't realize that a bunch of people are saying the one that is actually death to Jews, because that's part of one of the chants. It's death to America. What is it? Magar Ameriki, Magar Israeli, Magar, and then the last one is fucking to Jews. So don't forget, if you don't speak if someone's trying to teach you a language and you're learning it that day to yell it into a TV fucking monitor, don't. Because you might be saying some fucking wild shit. Just like from the lake to the sea. You mean from the river to the sea? What are Spider-Man's thoughts on the issue? Spider-Man is like fervently pro-Palestine, but he can't say it in front of J. Jonah Jameson. It's just awful that while our senators are talking and voting, people are dying. I get that's the reality of things. People die all the time. It makes me feel hopeless and angry. Well, stop. There's a lot of hope because your senators are still talking. Your senators are talking is good. That is good. The alternative is fucking murdering people, right? The Israelis, they're not fucking talking anymore. They stopped. The Hamas stopped talking. And look where it got them. They stopped chatting about shit. They stopped trying to fucking work to a diplomatic solution, and it opened up the doors to the worst maybe possible result that could have occurred. The talking is good. Diplomacy is good. It doesn't always go in your favor because sometimes it does. You don't deserve to have it go in your favor in the cruelest way. You just don't have the votes. But that's the point of democracy. Is once democracy's done, if you can't accept voting, if you can't accept the fact that you have to take L's, and sometimes those L's are morally incompatible with how you feel, then the other people that are in the democratic system with you that are also keeping their knives behind their back and they are making compromises against their morals, when that's happening, everyone's not killing each other. But when you take that off the table, you say, well, I'm going to stop doing the voting. I'm going to stop participating. I'm going to stop talking because I'm too upset because my morals are being violated. Then democracy ends. It might be for the best. It might be not. But I'll tell you what, once it fucking ends, it is very difficult to put back together because what follows is literally civil war. That is the next thing. That's why Tim Pool always fucking talks about it, because Tim Pool literally cannot comprehend compromise. Tim Pool is an actual fascist that can't help but be it because he's literally so stupid. He cannot comprehend having a moral position and then compromising on it for a better overall result. Like literally, it just understanding the hard truths of the world because he's such a spoiled, I don't know if he's actually like rich, but he's just got a spoiled fucking brat vibe to him. You can have spoiled brats in the hood, by the way. If you guys don't know this, if you've never been poor, by the way, or poor adjacent, and you're only middle class, and you're like, how dare you call a poor kid spoiled? You have not been around, my friend. Poor people can spoil their children. It's quite crazy when you see it happen, because usually it's just one of like 5 kids getting spoiled. Oh, little fella, hi. But no, it sucks. The thing that you can do is turn your energy into something positive. You know what I'm saying? Get out there and do what you can do. It might feel like hopeless. But understand the reality of things is that you are one person and your own moral reservations about things that are going on do not supersede the health and safety most of the fucking time of the people that are around you, especially in cases where sacrificing or violating their health and safety won't even immediately lead to a beneficial outcome. Like you can say you hate cops, right? And you don't like it when cops unnecessarily kill people. But if you unnecessarily kill somebody, why do you think you get to say a cab? You know what I mean? At all. Like you can kind of end the statement there. What makes you morally better other than you just believe you're morally permitted to do something? You know what I'm saying? And if you want to make the argument for that, you can. But after the fact, the argument for that is not casual. It is in court, in front of the crying relatives of whoever you may have murdered or harmed or beaten or maimed or whatever. Just understand, those are the real consequences. You can talk about everything hypothetical, but I have just seen the end result. I have seen twitching corpses, sunbaked, cooking under the sky as the last spasms of their dying brain make parts of their body hop and pop about, even though their body is cut from the fucking bottom of the rib cage up through the shoulder. I didn't want to hear about that. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that triggering? Seen it, so I don't care. Just a real memory I have. Understand that that's what happens. If you start playing around with fucking bombs and thinking about killing people and shit, that's what happens. It's a guy. It's a dude that woke up that day. Maybe he deserved to get cracked, but you're going to have to be callous. You're going to have to think about it in an amoral, non-energetic, non-hyped up way, because that's the only way to know that you're making the right decision is if you completely remove your own humanity and try to turn yourself into a robot for a second and say, does this actually need to happen? Am I so upset that I'm going to do it? Should I stop? Should I proceed? What's going to happen? And this is a dude who knows who you're going to harm. Who knows what's going to happen, especially when you start going toward violence. Is this a person, what this guy woke up today? I wonder did he see the sun? You know, did he see the sunrise today? I wonder what it was like. Did he have a good night's sleep last night? What did he dream about? What did he have for breakfast? Do his shoes fit well? When was the last time he got a new pair? What are his jeans like? Is he wearing like a t-shirt? You know? Where did he get it from? Why did he buy it? Why is he wearing it? Why did he cut his hair like that? You can't ask him any of those questions once you kill him, by the way. They're dead. Who is this human being whose life must be fucking ended in order for me to achieve political ends? Who is this person? I want you to like really consider that, especially people that start talking about violence. It's fun to joke about in a jokey joke sense. Trust me, when I do it, that is the jokey joke sense. You know how I know? Because I know. I know because I know. There you go. But actually, like, considering the possibility of doing it and making statements like this online is extraordinary. It's extraordinary, it's over the top, and it's unnecessary. Because, first off, one of his dipshit fucking little followers might actually do this. And let's just think about this callously. Not in a like, oh, fucking, I want to save Tom Cotton's life. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. If Tom Cotton dies of vicious overnight ass cancer that blows him to pieces in his fucking bed, you know, like, who cares? I don't give a fuck. Fuck him. I don't care about him. I have thought of him. I thought of all of the things, and I don't care. But like, even if you just think of this in the most callous way possible, what do you achieve other than Hasan looks like a fucking psycho? He's the one that fucking put this here, by the way. There's Hasan. He just tweeted this back at this guy. Also, any one of Hasan's fans that's watching him, if they go and improvise a weapon and shoot Tom Cotton, Hasan is going to go to prison. Hasan's not that rich. He's not that white. If one of your fans gets fucking excited and kills a sitting United States senator, one of the most powerful a person who is literally in line for the presidency, and it doesn't even go up to the third digit. You know what I mean? Like, you fucking expect, I think, right? I might be sideways about that, but could potentially be in line for the presidency. He's not that far. A guy who talks to the president, a guy who talks to other senators, one of the most powerful people in America. If he gets fucking cracked by one of your dipshit, twisted-brained fucking fans, you're going to prison. And worse, they are never going to stop talking about it. They're never going to stop. Because first off, it's Tom Cotton, who is, I think, from fucking Arkansas. I could be wrong. Hold on. I just looked this up, like, the other day. Yep. He's a senator for Arkansas, right? So you're just going to assume that the state of Arkansas does not have an additional Tom Cotton to stick into the Tom Cotton-shaped slot that you just opened up. So that act of political violence, first off, does not even remove that Senate seat from the equation. You're just killing somebody for talking shit. Which, you know, hey, I mean, gang, bro. Fucking throw the signs up and fucking ride. You know, if you want to live like that, you can live like that. Second, though, Hasan has now also opened up himself to the contra positive or the contra negative, which is now, is there a reason to not threaten Hasan's life if you're a right winger? Because Hasan has opened it up. Now Hasan has created a situation where it is okay to publicly threaten high-level politicians as a streamer in his mind. And he can't ever take that back. So from now on, and it doesn't matter because it's just, oh, well, our side is correct, their side is wrong. Okay, that's cute. That's an adult thought that's going to lead to any fucking positive outcomes. If Hasan read books at all, if he fucked with political science like a little bit, he would probably understand that this is dumb, emotional baby shit that you shouldn't do because it's fucking humiliating to everybody, and just stop. But he doesn't, and he won't, and so here we are. But like, now, if somebody like hit Frogan, who's one of his like little friends, she's like a little pro-terrorist person. She doesn't really have the right to complain about people sending her public death threats anymore because Hasan, who's kind of one of the most idealized high-level people in their camps, unless she comes out against it, he has done this, you know? So if it happens to her, it's fine. Anybody that wants to threaten Hasan's life from now on with images and shit is cool. It's fine. He's opening the door. You know what I mean? Like, this is permanent and unretractable. And it's like, oh, that's kind of unfair because other things happen. Like, yeah, maybe it was unfair if it's like something like, okay, I was a 16-year-old and I was stupid and I threatened a sitting United States senator with a gun. But Hasan is a multimillionaire, very well known, publicly front-facing socialist who is one of the biggest known quantities as far as talking heads on our side of the fence goes, and he is engaging in terrorism. This is terrorism, by the way. Right? What? No way. Really? Yes, this is terrorism. This is terroristic threats. Literally, the crime is terroristic threats. Just so you know, it is a felony. Most places, it's a minor felony, maybe like a level A misdemeanor. Other places, like a level D to level C felony. It's a crime. This is a crime. This is a crime. It does not follow. It doesn't fall under political speech because no speech was made. The speech is literally a threat of sharing a weapon used in an assassination against a similar political figure in another country. This is illegal. This is a crime. Unironically, I would support 100% fucking Hasan getting clapped for this. Like, not killed. Like, literally clapped in irons and arrested and having to fucking go and, like, give an apology or something. Because I don't want anyone to see our side of the fucking fence and say, oh, well, they don't get punished for crimes and stuff. So it's okay. It's not okay when we do it, but it's okay when they do it. So we're just going to do it 6 times more. Like, when you open this, and by the way, this is also a thing that Hasan is never going to do. Hasan is too big of a pussy. He has too much to lose. Hasan, if everything popped off tomorrow, you guys understand this, and I would love to hear the argument against it. If everything popped off and it was a literal Civil War II electric boogaloo in America tomorrow, do you think it would take 10 seconds for Hasan to go to LAX and then flee to Turkey? Do you think he would actually stick around and like look out for you? Do you think he'd be out there in downtown LA with a fucking fake shotgun trying to defend people from like the hordes of Riverside Californians who are coming into LA to, I don't know, Day of the Rope people? No, like he would vanish overnight, like dust gone into the air and leave you all to do it. So also just another pussy fucking shit, dude. Don't share it if you ain't gonna fucking do it. First off, and yet another thing, last most callous statement. If you're gonna fucking smoke somebody, don't leave evidence. Don't say you're gonna do it. Just do it. You know what I mean? Like, man up. If you fucking feel like you gotta fucking crack someone, and go do the deed. Don't be out here fucking talking shit and being a fucking big mouth gangster. Like, fucking grab the steel and make it happen. You know what I mean? Which is another. It's just bullshit. This is fronting from a legitimate fucking pussy. Like, and I feel like you could say, this is a guy who won't go box Sam Hyde for fucking money. Sam Hyde is out of shape. Like, he's on roids, but like he clearly drinks a lot and fucking ran out of gas in like a single round. Like, go take a fucking single hit from Sam Hyde for fucking leftism. He won't do that. He's too big of a pussy. He gets called out by people all the time. He won't fucking debate. He won't fucking scrap. He won't have fucking arguments on the street. He won't fucking call his own fans to account. But he's going to fucking threaten a sitting U.S. senator in a way that like makes his fucking fans excited about the possibility of violence. To the point where even like people are coming to my show, like, well, I am fucking a little frustrated with the way the government's going. Like, I got to talk them down? No. Fuck Hasan for this. Like unironically, this should be this would have been, in a better era, a career ender for a moron. A career ender for a moron. Because this is also how bad political things have gotten, is that first off, Tom Cotton feels like it's okay to threaten people at all. He should be held account not by dumb fucking Hasan Abi with memeing murder. He should be held account through fucking senatorial censure. It should be, hey, you are literally inspiring people. There's fucking things in place. And then you do the political version of that. You show that the system works and you pressure your fucking senators to make sure he's censured. You know what I mean? Fucking like literally attack him. Bring it to the polls and fight the battle in the way that the battle can be fought. Because that's what Hasan could have done. Hasan could have made this into a thing. Hasan could put his money to work. He could put his platform to work. He could do a lot of shit. But instead what he did was threaten someone's life. Which is weak shit, first off, because he's not going to fucking do it. And it's bad policy, second. And it should have been a career. Once upon a time, it was. And it should have been. Like, if Rush Limbaugh would have done this shit back in the day, you know what I mean? Like, Rush Limbaugh even Rush fucking Limbaugh. Like, that would have been the thing. It would have fucked his whole shit up. Fucking, Don Imus, once upon a time, called a women's basketball team nappy-headed hoes. And it obliterated his career. And I'm not saying that there needs to be a stifling of free speech. I'm saying this isn't even covered by free speech, and we need to get back to a point where motherfuckers are cowed for stepping out of the lines that they don't even have to necessarily cross themselves. Rich people should not feel comfortable inciting violence that they will not have to perpetrate on their own, and that he knows in his heart of hearts other people would do for him. He should not feel comfortable saying stuff like this. This should be a direct threat to his money. It should be a direct threat to his literal freedom. You should not feel comfortable threatening people's lives on Twitter. Anyone shouldn't. But especially when the fucking cops can find you because they know who you are, you should go to jail for a little bit. You should sit in a fucking cell and cool off because you're threatening someone's life. That's literally what the prisons are for. Put him in a box for fucking 2 weeks. Tell him to apologize. And then when he gets out, be like, okay, dude, now you've got to do community service. I know that's going to suck, but you might get some blisters picking up trash on the side of the road. Biggest day of Hasan's life. Could you imagine that? Hasan picking up trash and there's fucking tens of thousands of fans lamenting, crying, weeping that he's out there. He's in the sun. I would love it. Give Hasan community service. 90 days of him having to IRL live stream while he picks up fucking soda cans on the side of the 401 or wherever the fuck it is out there. Hilarious. I would love it. I would die laughing. It would be the best day of my fucking life. And it would be super deserved. I'm not being extreme. I'm not being exaggerative. And it's beyond like a meme. It's just literally, he didn't even say anything. There's no joke to it. It's just, I shared a picture of a gun. They had to take the fucking gun emoji off Twitter, not just because memers were using it, because literal fucking gangsters were sending fucking emojis of the gun to people before, like in Instagram DMs, if you guys didn't know this. Actual little hood kids, little fucking gangsters, fucking 13, 17, 20 years old, were sending fucking gun emojis to people and then fucking shooting them to death, and it made the companies look so bad, they changed the emoji permanently. Like, this shit is real. There's a reason you can't do that. There's a reason you can't fucking do that. And I know people are saying it's Twitter. I don't even care about Twitter's. This is beyond Twitter. This definitely falls underneath terms of service. And it should be fucking eliminated. Elon's stupid. This is actually a legal issue with the United States legal system. That should be, it should not be permitted. And, you know, whatever. He's probably not going to get you anything because Hasan's too rich for fucking repercussions, generally. But, like, it should be a thing where people in his audience go, like, maybe shut the fuck up, all right? Don't you incite people to violence that we know you're not fucking man enough to do yourself. Don't talk about, like, you got little homies that would do it. They'll pick up the controller. Fuck that shit. Like, shut the fuck up, Hasan. Why don't you go pretend to be fucking Hank Pecker again in No Pixel and, like, do stuff that's more to your fucking speed? God damn it. Tyler, he was that kind of high school dropout couch surfer that took advantage of people while he tried to pop off doing skateboards until Occupy allowed him to get a job in journalism. Oh, yeah, fucking Tim Pool. Dude. He already picked trash. It's called his community. That's a monstrous statement. Wow. Hasan really posting like America's in the middle of the troubles. Hold on, wasn't Tom Cotton threatening protesters' lives? Yeah, but like what the fuck does that have to do with Hasan threatening Tom Cotton? You know, it's not like it is. What is that going to fix? You know what I'm saying? Hasan wants to go save the protesters. Hasan can build this and then go and stand with them because it's legal to have this stupid shit in America. But like Hasan ain't going to do that. Hasan's not going to go down with the Hasan has the money to strap up and hire 15 dudes to also go fucking get clapped up in fucking armor and stand with protesters and be like, hey, if anyone fucks up, like, we're here with weapons too. Hasan could do that. He has the money for it. He could just pay for it to be done. But no, he's not going to do something that'll actually keep protesters safe, at least safer than this. He just sends little fucking pictures and shit. Because that's like, and he's going to choke with, oh, people just saw me send this. I mean, it's fucking bullshit. They would have blown up about it anyway. It would have been anything. They would have fucking blown it out of proportion. But like, I mean, dude, Hasan is fucking just stacking them up, man. America deserves 9/11. We got to fucking pick. It's you've got to understand where you're coming from, even if it's taken out of context. Like, what, you're a major leftist speaker, and like you've already come out lightly pro-terrorism. Now you've become out more pro-terrorism. Now you're sending improvised weapon pictures to sitting U.S. senators. At a certain point, the authorities won't actually need to like imagine something up. This is just literally a crime. Even Tom Cotton's thing was phrased with a sense of plausible deniability in there, like just from a callous sense. Like at least he could say like, well, I never said that. But like fucking Hasan sent a diagram of how to build the gun. If you don't have the gun, you now know how to build it, is the intent. Literally build a gun, shoot this guy with it. Is there a fucking jury in America that has existed that is going to look at this and go like, oh, well, it could have been anything to a leftist? Absolutely not. I mean, Hasan threatened somebody. Yeah, he literally sent a picture of a gun to somebody. That's just completely within like the legal I've seen this. I've covered this before. It's just terroristic threats. It's a misdemeanor. Hold on, let me see. What is terroristic threats in? He lives in Los Angeles, right? Los Angeles County terroristic threats charge. Let's see. California criminal penalties for terrorist threats. If found guilty, punishment may include fines of up to $2,000, up to 4 years in prison, probation, parole, or loss of your right to own a gun or vote. Is terroristic threat a felony? May be charged as a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the seriousness of the threat and the discretion of the prosecutor. What's the penalty? I need the code. Penal code 422 PC. Okay, let's see. So I'll just read this. So you guys don't know. So I'll just read. So this is his jurisdiction. This is where he lives. California Penal Code 422 is the statute. This is from EGAT attorneys. EG attorneys, sorry. Is the statute that makes it a crime to communicate a threat to somebody that could result in great bodily injury or death, which is known as criminal threats. Sometimes I forget that you guys actually probably don't know this shit. Sorry. This law prohibits threatening to harm or kill another person if the threat places the victim in reasonably sustained fear for their safety or that of their family. If this was just you, dipshit, anonymous chatter sending something, okay, fine. Hasan has a massive worldwide audience in both that, like, he has thousands, maybe tens of thousands of fans in just Arkansas and Washington, D.C., where this senator lives and works, a United States senator. But so, by the way, I'm going down. This is, it should actually be the federal version because this is across state lines. To convict you of violating Penal Code 422 PC, this is California. You willfully threaten to injure or kill someone. The threat was verbal, written, or with electronic communication. The threat was intended to be received as an actual threat. Because he didn't include any statements along with it, there's no reason to believe it's not the case. It would be very difficult. He'd be in a very bad position. The threat was specific to the victim, and it conveyed an immediate possibility of being executed. He sent a picture not just of a gun, but of a weapon specifically used in a political assassination he has previously come out in support of, that someone could build, and he sent it as part of a public communication to his audience of millions. The threat placed the victim in fear for their safety or their immediate family, and it was sustained fear. Will Tom Cotton say he was afraid to hurt fucking Hasan Pecker? Yeah, he will. Communicated explicitly means it was a particular threat and more than a general hand gesture such as, I am going to kill you. A great bodily injury means a significant physical injury that must place the victim in fear for their safety that has to be sustained, which can be challenging to prove. Further, a PC 422 criminal threat could still be prosecuted even if there is no evidence you had actual intent to carry out the threat. What are the penalties if convicted? Up to a year in county jail. Oh, California Penal Code 422 PC is a wobbler that can be filed either as a misdemeanor or a felony offense. I told you guys I know what I'm talking about. This is California law, I guess. It's pretty common. A lot of these are common throughout. Usually, if there's a federal version of this, it will almost never be a misdemeanor. I don't think there's such a thing as a federal misdemeanor. Maybe there is. I'm not too up on federal. That was usually a different person. I covered mostly local and state and county courts. But yeah, wobblers, which means it's one of those kind of things that's on the border because sometimes it can be felonious and sometimes it can be misdemeanor. They charge you with the misdemeanor one. It's going to be really hard for you to not get it because it's basically like a serious fucking ticket, like a $2,000 ticket, maybe some community service. If they hit you with the felony one, that's a trial. more than likely, like a whole fucking big thing. Up to a year in county jail, a fine of up to $1,000 here, and summary probation, which is here, misdemeanor probation, alternative to serving, terms and conditions, community service. So yeah, community service. Like I said, I don't think he should go to jail for fucking 4 years. But like sentencing Hasan or anyone that does something like this to community service, if it seems pretty reasonable, I think is a good idea to cool people off. I think that this is like the aspect of the judicial system that should be used more liberally, is unironically like misdemeanor charges to tell people to like shut the fuck up and learn to re-understand your place in society. Re-education, so to say. If convicted of a felony, PC 422 criminal threats, then you are facing 16 months, 2 years, or 3 years in state prison. Fucking mandatory minimums, baby. Fine of up to $10,000, formal probation, which is like probation. I don't know exactly how California does it, but that's not like the other kind of probations or don't get in trouble. Formal probation is probation officer probation. So like you are going to have to check in. You're going to have to take piss tests. You are going to be subject to probation rules, which are a different set of laws that affect only people that are on probation. So it's going to be shit like you can't smoke weed, you can't do drugs, you can't leave the state, you can't talk to certain people, you can't be seen like commingling or interacting with people of disreputable nature, that sort of shit. It's basically like being like fucking adult super grounded. Not quite house arrest, but like the next step down. From what I understand, having worked actually for 2 weeks, for 2 whole weeks, I actually worked in a work release, house arrest program at a jail in Clark County, Indiana. Most people, the vast majority of people, prefer house arrest and all of the stipulations implied to probation 99% of the time, just because probation and house arrest are almost the same thing. But with the house arrest, you have to kind of stay at home and go back and forth. And the rules, therefore, are weirdly a little bit more lax when you leave the house because they're so strict. So it's just like, I have to go to the house, I have to come back, I have to stay at the house kind of thing. Whereas the probation kind of has a series of additional rules that are there that you don't always know are like, you can stumble over. They give you a class on it, but they tell you so many different fucking rules that it's kind of hard to keep them all together. And then you don't realize that you like visited a non-visitable establishment and somebody saw you there, or you're like not available for something. And so the close scrutiny of house arrest, which also tends to be a little bit shorter because it's more intense than the probation, because probation can go up to like, you can go on probation for like 5 or 6 years or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Like it can be pretty fucking long depending on the type of probation. House arrest tends to be locked at something like, you know, I don't think I've heard of one that's more than 3 months, but they probably go up to like a year in a lot of other jurisdictions. Well, the ones that we were covering were 3 months to, 1 to 3 months of house arrest. And it was called like work house arrest. So basically like you're not in the prison anymore. You're in your house so you can reacclimate to society, but you have to stay at the house kind of thing. It's very complicated, but better than jail. All preferable to jail. But that's it. You were in house arrest. I wasn't in house arrest. I was actually the guy that, well, I mean, you would say that in the thing. I was one of the people that did check-ins and check-outs for people that were part of the work release and house arrest program. So like every day they came in and I would check them out and blah, 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 and they would go in, go out and stuff. I was an unofficial member of the, I think it's Clark County. I don't know why I would be wrong about that. Clark County jail system. And then that program shut down like 2 weeks after I got there. They said it would be like 6 months until it ended. Like it's a temporary job. And I was like, I just need the money for a little bit, so I'll just be here. And then they were like, okay, we just found out that there's 2 weeks. Like the day I started. And that was one of those miserable. That's when I was working third shift. And that shift was 10 to 6 a.m. I think. Yeah, because the sun was up when I fucking left. So that was like a 10 to 6 a.m. shift. Miserable. I would just get in there and type. The other people would be like, you want to play Uno? And I'm like, I don't want to play Uno. I don't want to talk to you. I just want to fucking write stories, you fucker. Leave me alone. But yeah, you could be sentenced to an additional year of prison if you use a deadly or dangerous weapon to commit a criminal threat. So that's that kind of whole thing. It's also considered a strike under the 3 strikes law. I thought California got rid of that. Holy fuck. So that's 1 strike on the way to thing. Stalking, aggravated gang enhancement law, firearm possession. I wonder if gang enhancement could get you if you have if your streamers attack someone. California gang sentencing penal code. Basically, a criminal street gang is any group of 3 or more people who have a common name that participate in a pattern of committing a variety of California criminal offenses. Penal Code 18622 was enacted back in 88 by California lawmakers in response to rising gang violence. It's officially called the Street Terrorism Enforcement and Prevention Act, STEPA. But more commonly, oh my God, is that why those fucking rap songs, people call themselves steppers? I know I've heard that before. Like, I'm a real stepper. I know I've heard that. Is that where that's fucking from? Street Terrorism Enforcement and Prevention Act? That's fucking fire. Because it's just a thing. But like, I think you're gonna see this more often because this has happened to like people in bands, people that were like, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there's been people who were like, they had fans as a band and they called their fans a name, and because I don't know what Hasan's people are called, but like because they had a unified name and they did something that the band leader talked about, even though they weren't even in the band, the guy got hit with like RICO over it, because it was suggested that like he told people to do stuff. Even with they tried to get ICP with RICO, to call the Juggalos a gang because there were people would be dressed up as Juggalos and do something, but it wouldn't be because they were Juggalos, but still because they were all part of that thing. The FBI tried to actually get them established as like a federally recognized criminal organization, which is crazy, right? Gang enhancement sounds cooler than I'd expect. Yeah, until you're getting hit with it. VOD gang better never do anything illegal in California then, because we all go down with that one fella. Yeah. Don't ever do anything. I tell you, don't do anything. It would be the thousands upon thousands of hours of me saying violence is bad and letting yourself succumb to despair and acts of pointless violence is bad. That would be my defense, as opposed to Hasan, who has started doing the, I don't know, somebody should do something. Somebody should do something. You know what I mean? You need to make the Westside Gorpos. Let's see. Okay, I agree that what Hasan would do is stupid. I'm just angry that Tom Cotton can openly advocate violence against protesters and not face any consequences. Ugh. It sucks. The thing is, it's not this, and it's a reason. You're reasonable. Reasonable feeling. Reasonable as fuck. Just don't let that feeling take over your brain and start justifying any action against that as though any action that happens against the thing that happened is actually going to fix it, which it won't. I mean, if you really think about it, the laws that even permit Tom Cotton to say that and kind of work around it, he should be censured. He should really be censured by the Senate for saying those things. If not by the by whatever body governs senatorial conduct inside the state of Arkansas. The state of Arkansas should tell him to shut the fuck up, just to save face in a general sense. But the laws that allow him to even say that, you know what I'm saying? Those are things that you can do something about. That comes down. That shit is where voting, where political pressure through actual organized activism comes in. Like if you start building caucuses and voting blocks and building up whole towns that like stand for something, you know what I mean? At the very ground level, you'll have so much more influence than a guy with a gun. A guy with a gun feels cool. Because, you know, a guy with a gun does something that changes history, but it never really changes it that much. You know what I mean? Shooting JFK, like, what did that have? What changed? Other than JFK's gone, and now we have to hear about fucking the grassy knoll for the next fucking 1,000 years. Nothing really. I mean, maybe like a few kind of minor things that maybe spiraled into whole big deals, blah, 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 blah. But as far as like a full course correction, a change in the entirety of like, all of every single person over which he was like in charge was like completely, all of their lives were different. I don't really think that's the case. It is a political action. Political violence does have a place here and there at times. But there's almost literally nothing, to the point, I would say nothing in America right now that's going on that would justify premeditated and unprovoked political violence against an unsuspecting non-combatant, an assassination. Almost literally nothing. And the things that I could think that would be justified about it, because I am not a fucking moron, I won't say. And they're still such they're such insane hypotheticals that it would be more dangerous to even try to fucking bring them up in outside of any like healthy circumstances anyway. Oh, look how tall he gets. Look how tall he gets. Oh, he stumbled. Little Bubba. Okay, and I'll be back in just a second. Much love. Be safe. Be good.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.